Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. So for this video we're going to make the 3D JackSepticEye little eyeball here. Now this is one I made. These are, I believe, a Loom brand. They're a sort of jelly green, and these ones are Rainbow Loom. These ones here, and I've done a lighter green around the edge here, and that is actually a Rainbow Braid lighter jelly green. And then I've used the Rainbow Loom Ocean Blue and Rainbow Loom Opaque Black. And I think I prefer this look to this look. I like the way the green sort of goes into the darker. And then we have the little optic nerve here. So this is the one we're going to make today. All right. So the things you're going to need, I'm using black, opaque black. You need about 7 of those bands. 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to need 12 of the blue, of the rainbow. Well, I'm using Rainbow Loom, as I said, Ocean Blue jelly. So that's 3, 6, 9 and 12. We're going to need those, and we're going to need 18 of the lighter green. Okay, so get those ready, and then the rest of the bands are going to be the darker shade of jelly. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Gosh, wouldn't you look at that, a handful, and it's the right amount. So, and a stitch marker. You're going to need a stitch marker as well. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a C clip, an S clip, or something like that. That works just as well. Let's get started. Our magic ring you can do on the hook, or you can do on your loom. I like to show you how to do it on the loom, just so that it's very visible and clear as to what I'm doing. Excuse me, eyeballs, out the way. There we are. All right, so with our magic ring on our loom, take your first band and you're going to wrap it twice around, well, 3 times. This is considered once. Then you do a figure 8 and twist it twice, and again figure 8, and that's 3 times. So you end up with 3 little loops on your peg here. Okay, then we have 6 bands, and we're going to make a magic ring. Push your hook through, and we'll do our little slip knots like this. Push them around. I'm going to assume that you have watched my beginner's guide to Loomigurumi. I have a tips and tricks playlist for Loomigurumi, and that includes my beginner's guide, but also all the different stitches that I have come up with so far that you can do from crochet into loom bands. So have a look at that. It will help you familiarize yourself. This is a very nice and simple little design, so you're really not going to have to do much more than an increase, a single crochet, a slip stitch and a decrease. So there we go. Let's move our bands around so it's a magic ring, not our magic semicircle. Now, to change colours, we do a slip stitch. Okay, so if you have a look here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6 is on our hook. You're going to push your hook through your first stitch, grab your blue band, your first blue band, and you're going to pull it through all 3 of these loops, the 2 loops here of the stitch, but also number 6 over here. So pull it through like so, as if you were doing a tie off, as if you were doing a slip stitch, you know, a slip knot to tie off. Reclaim it one over the other like so, and that is a slip stitch. Oops, come here, back. There we go. Pop your stitch marker in so that you can mark that as stitch number 1. Now we're doing an increase, so we're going to go in through this first stitch, and each of these stitches is going to have 2 single crochets in. So this is going to be our slip stitches number 1. This will be number 2. Okay, and then in the second stitch you do 2 single crochets. Whoopsie, come back here you. There's 1. And here's 2. Jelly bands are always a bit slipperier than the opaque, but I do like how they look. Let's do 2 in this one. 1 and 2. And you're increasing the area from 6 stitches to 12 stitches. And in this one, do 2. and in this last stitch we'll do 2. Now one of the things to remember when you have done a slip stitch is there's 2 parts to the stitch. There's this little bit here that's at an angle, and then this where we actually have our stitch marker. That is the actual stitch. So you don't go through this tiny one here, okay? You go through the actual stitch, which is here. We're going to use our lighter colour green. Again, we're colour changing. So pull it through, add the loop, and you're doing a slip stitch. So one over the other, change your stitch marker, okay? And for this round we're doing a single crochet followed by an increase. We will consider that our first stitch. So in our second stitch we'll do our increase. 1 and 2. In the next stitch, the third stitch, we do a single crochet and then 2 single crochets in this stitch, so it's an increase, a single, an increase, a single, increase, a single, an increase, single. Depending on what bands you have or what I'm using, depends on whether I can slide them nice and easily. An increase. These ones I'm having to use my fingers to move them. They don't slide as nicely without twisting, whereas Rainbow Loom ones really do. And finish on an increase. Now if you have a look here, here's our stitch which has our stitch marker in it. This little one here is not a stitch. That's the slip stitch, that's the beginning of it. This is where we put our hook through the stitch, not through this little bit here. We're changing to the, I don't know, these are, maybe I don't know what they're technically called, but they're the jelly green from Rainbow Loom. I'm wanting to say lime, but I don't know if they really are. We're doing a colour change, so pull it through the first stitch, include the loop, and do your slip stitch and move your stitch marker. So the light green was 18. We're now going to be increasing this to 24, okay, by doing a single crochet, increase. So we'll consider this our first stitch. Let's go into the second stitch for a single crochet, and now we'll do an increase. 1 and 2, and then we'll do 2 single crochets. So here's the first single crochet. In the next stitch is the second single crochet, and then we do an increase. 1 and 2, single crochet, single crochet, and an increase. Single crochet, single crochet, and an increase. Single crochet, single crochet, and an increase. Single crochet, single crochet, and this is our last stitch here, an increase, one, and back through that same stitch, two. Now again, this little bit here is part of the slip stitch. This is your first stitch. We're not doing a color change, so we just do a single crochet, move your stitch marker, and now the rest of this design is all in this particular green. Now we're going to do 4 rounds of single crochet. Okay, so all you're going to do, I'm going to put 4 little bands here, 2, 3, oops, that seems to be a different colour one. There we go. Here's, I think somebody was sorting my bands for me. Oh, they've got 2 tones in. So there's 4 here. I'm going to take 1 to show that I'm on this first round. And we're going to go all the way around doing single crochet, and I want you to do this so that you have 4 rounds of single crochet. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording here, pause it, and pick it up when I've done my 4 rounds, because otherwise this video is going to be incredibly long and you'll all get very frustrated with me. So let's do 4 rounds. This is number 1 of 4. You're going to do 4 of single crochet in the same colour. Don't forget to move your stitch marker, and I will catch you back when we've all done 4. So I'm back. I've done my 4 rounds, okay, and now what we're going to do is start doing our decreases. Alright, so we're going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease, just like we finished with 2 single crochets and an increase. Now we're doing the decreases. So here's our first stitch, so we'll do a single crochet and we'll move our stitch marker, and we'll do another single crochet in the next stitch, and then we'll do a decrease. Now I've taken to doing decreases just by going in the outside 2 loops like that. So normally we would go through one and then through the other, but if I do it just through the outside loops, there's less bands there and I don't find it so bulky. It's a little more discreet. So there's my first decrease, and then I do 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2 and a decrease. There's my first stitch. Here's the second stitch. And then 1 and 2, first single crochet, second single crochet, first stitch and second stitch for my decrease, first single crochet, whoopsie, let's not twist that band, there we go, second, and there's my decrease coming up, one and 2, and we finish on a decrease. Now you can make these eyeballs any colour you like, and I do have a large eyeball tutorial. This is a mini one, so you know, it doesn't have to be these colours, you can do any colour you like. Alright, so now we're back here. This is our first stitch, so go through and do a single crochet, move your stitch marker. Okay, now we're going to do single crochet, which we just did, decrease, single crochet, decrease. So now we're on a decrease. and a single crochet, and a decrease, single crochet, and a decrease, single crochet. Oops, that's a broken band. Let's get that out of the way. And a decrease, single crochet, and decrease, a single crochet, and our last stitch is a decrease. I'm going to put my hook through the first stitch and do a single crochet and move my stitch marker, and at this stage we're going to stuff our little eyeball. Now with my stitch marker I just take the other end and just poke it down here just to keep it out of the way when I'm stuffing, so that it doesn't get stuck inside the eyeball. So the filling that I've been using lately is this one. It's made by a company called Loops and Threads. It's 100% polyfill fibre. And take a little bit of that. Try not to overstuff it. You'll figure out how much you need, I guess. You can use anything though, you don't have to use the polyfill. I like it, it's very soft and light. It's not very expensive, you can get it from craft shops, but you could use tissues, you can use cotton wool balls. One lady uses the stuffing from her husband's pillow and he hasn't even worked it out yet. What else? Another lady uses grocery bags, shopping bags. That might be a bit crinkly. You can use scraps of yarn, scraps of material, whatever really, it's completely up to you. So there's my eyeball that is stuffed. Let's move this out the way. And to seal this up, we're going to be going around just doing decreases. So I'm going to pop my hook through, and I don't need my stitch marker anymore because I don't really need to know where the beginning is, because I'm just going to be closing it up until it's finished. So I'm going through just those outside 2 loops, and doing decreases. Now if you feel this is making, if going through the 2 outside loops is making it too holy, with a too much of a holy look, go through both, it doesn't matter. It's completely up to you what you're comfortable with. I like doing it this way because I think it's just a tiny bit more discreet. Okay, so I'm sort of at the end here. I can see that this is where my last 2 are. I'll maybe do one more just to get it really closed. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm on this side. On the opposite side I'm going to go through the 2 loops there, and then with a single band I'm going to pull through and do a chain. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're doing 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Now skip this first one, skip this second one, go into this one here. So you're 1, 2 and 3. You're moving back 2 and going into that third one here. Alright, go through it, so you're going through the center of it, so you've got 2 loops either side, okay? And you're going to do a single crochet, so go through, reclaim, and then pull this little loop through these 2, like that. And we're going to do this, single crochet up the chain, make sure you don't get it twisted. You want to make sure that you're still going through, so make sure it's the right way. Here's my last one here. I'm going through that. And I'm going to secure this to the bottom here with that, just going through the bottom stitch there. I'm going to pull through, do a slip stitch and pull it nice and tight. I don't want that going anywhere. And I'm just going to poke my hook through the center, and I'm going to pull that back so that it's sitting inside my eyeball. Like that, pull it, and then tuck all this back in. You can just tuck that back in, the extra stuffing and the end of the band. In you go. Here we are. There we are. So there's our little optic nerve. Now, the other thing you can do if you want to is attach one of these little, like it's a backpack hook or something, your keychain hook or something. You can do that as well. And you don't need an extra band. All you're going to do is the band that is on the bottom here. You've got 2 sides to it, okay? So put the little hook on your, put the little keychain hook on your crochet hook, and with that end band, you're going to take one side off your hook, so you've got it either side like this. Move your keychain hook onto it, grab the other side like that, one over the other, and then you're going to splay the one that's left on your hook, splay it open and pop your keychain hook through it. And I just pull this down a bit so that it forms like a little knot. And there you have it. Now you don't need to do that. It's completely up to you. If you put that on, I think it's quite fun to attach it to a backpack, but you can just leave it like this and have it without. Up to you. Enjoy making. Take care.